Hello everyone, my name is Pranaranjan Patel. I am the business head for TeamLease Services Limited. Today we are here to have an industry dialogue with one of the industry veterans on the topic of employee experience and retention in manufacturing sector. The engineering sector is the largest of the industrial sectors in India. It accounts for 27% of the total factories in industrial sector and represents 63% of overall foreign collaborations. The engineering industries has been de-licensed and now allows 100% FTI. Additionally, it has grown to the biggest contributor to the nation's overall merchandise exports. In financial year 2021, India's heavy electrical equipment productions stood at $21.1 billion. India machine tool production and consumption were estimated $879.38 million and $1.6 billion respectively in financial year 2021. India exported engineering goods worth $111.63 billion in financial year 2022, a 45.5% increase year on year. India exports engineering goods mostly to US and Europe, which account for over 60% of the total exports. Having said this, we are excited to host today's event, which will touch upon the pressing topic of employee experience and retention in manufacturing sector. So join me in welcoming Mr. Anil Banga, who is the Senior Vice President for Prime Metal Technologies Limited, who has got 30 plus years of experience of learning through execution of complex multidisciplinary projects, leading and building high performance team across the international spectrum. So thank you for joining, sir. If you can introduce yourself a bit so that our viewers can know about you.
It's been quite a journey. My father was in public service and would get transferred practically every 3 years. We have lived in all the corners of India. We've lived in the west, south, east, north. And I think when I started working, I followed a similar trajectory, which means started from the west and I worked in the south, east, north, and internationally. So that was an additional feather that got added. And apart from that, as I went through life, I decided to add on certain things which I thought would help me deal with life's challenges. So there was this Senior Management Executive program that I did from IIM Calcutta. This is the 1-year program instead of the 2-year regular MBA. And I was also among the first 50 project management professionals to be certified in India. This was way back in 2000. And recently, to help me with giving back to the next generation and to society in general, I've also done a course in coaching, which is something that we usually do in our formal positions also as heads of department. But I decided to learn the competencies that come with it, and it's done in a very structured way. So it's about a 10-month course followed by a couple of exams and by the International Coaching Federation. So it's the certification is recognized worldwide. That helps. So if one is a professionally certified coach, that helps me with my people connect, and where I don't suggest as a boss what is supposed to be done. This basically believes that the person coming to me with a problem has the solution within himself or herself. My only objective is facilitate the bringing it out of the solution from within the person. That way the responsibility for the actions, for the decisions rests with the person, the accountability stays there, and the person of course feels good that he or she found the solution to the problem. And of course the IIM Calcutta course helped broaden the vision. We were not only looking at what I was doing, I was able to correlate it with the other factors that influence business, that influence our ways of working, that influence India as a nation. So all those things help. Today I'm able to understand better what is diversity, what is inclusion, what is climate change. I mean, one is reading the newspapers, one is able to comprehend a lot better of what's going on in this planet. So that way, all those things have helped. Yeah. We are a multinational and it's very tightly controlled by headquarters. Right. So it's not like India has the freedom to, take whatever decisions you want. We need to, in this company, there's a favorite word, align. So we need to align with headquarters. This is our 3-year projection for order intake, for revenue, for rebate, for free cash flows. And based on that, this is going to be our headcount. So unless there is a drastic increase and suddenly you say that, oh, we got a lot more orders than we had anticipated, then it's a moment of celebration. But then it cannot be like 1 year you had a terrific order and then you recruit 100 people and the next year you are back to your industry standard and then you let go 100. That is what I was telling.
Right.
You don't do that in India. So we align. And but what we do is when we make someone permanent, and there are instances when somebody taken from TeamLease has been made permanent. What we do is we find out, we took him on her on a temporary basis,
right,
need based, and then we found out the performance is good, the person is loyal, diligent, hardworking, and then you are able to foresee a future or a career for him or her in this organization, that he or her could fit into this role, and then we can see beyond 2 years or 3 years or 5 years that we can offer a career. That is when you decide to make the person permanent.
right.
Then it's not like you have not made a mistake because you have actually tested out the person. It's not one interview when you have taken in,
Right.
and then you
Right.
regret after a few months. You have actually seen the performance.
Yes.
And then you feel that yes, there is a future.
And also the longevity, sir. I mean, he or she has worked for quite a long time.
Yeah.
And if he or she made up a career out of it, then I think she or he can go for a long way.
No, but this is something like, when we all grow up,
Yeah.
there are notes that we make mentally. We look up to our bosses, and there are certain things that you appreciate, there are some things you don't appreciate, and then there are mental notes in the mind. If I come to this position, this is what I will do, this is what I will not do.
Right.
And so some come up with like, if they have been rubbed wrong, then they said, if I come there, I'm going to rub everybody hard, But most of the others will probably find the right balance.
Right. Right.
And one of the things I learned from one of my bosses was this thing about, taking on people or making them permanent, about look at their future, look at their career, see what you can offer to them.
Right.
And I have always been people focused, which is why, I identify very closely with TeamLease, because you are basically people focused organization.
Right. Right.
They say that, take care of your employees, and the employees will take care of everything else.
Right.
So, and this is something I never lose an opportunity to discuss with my colleagues or within our management meetings. Whenever we talk about, I said, why do we always talk in terms of, tell this guy to do this, tell this guy to do that? Have we ever asked the person what does he or she want to do in life? And then try and figure out, very simple. I said, I came here more than 9 years ago. Head of HR has changed, management has changed. Do you know what my background is? None of them know. They know I'm head of department, I'm doing this. What was I doing before? What other capabilities do I have? Most don't know. They said, okay, he's sitting here handling this thing, he's doing a nice job, okay. I said, I could be doing something else. If you rotate me, I could make a bigger contribution. And not just me, I'm talking about all my colleagues.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. Try and be a little more
That's true, sir.
people focused. Make them the center of your
Right.
strategy. And then the free cash flows and the orders and profits, everything will come in. People are happy, jobs will get done, the results will be a byproduct. You don't have to focus on the results.
Right, sir. That's true. If we talk about the recruitment also, sir, do you feel any changes have happened in terms of recruitment strategies, the workforce and all? You have already here for more than 9 years, as you know. Maybe the last decade, this time, any particular differences you have found?
We are as I just kind of elaborated, we are a little more particular about, I will not use the word stringent, but particular would be right. We are very particular about whom we are recruiting, and as far as I am concerned, for example, again influenced by certain people, business persons who have made it big. If you read or listen to what that Apple guy, Steve Jobs had said, or what Tim Cook has said, and then or what Richard Branson said when he said, "Leave it to the employees. Take care of your employees, and they take care of everything." So when you listen or read about what these people are saying, then it boils down to exactly like what you were saying about be very particular, surround yourself with an A category team, and don't be afraid. A boss cannot be afraid of his subordinate. Somebody will come and sit on my chair if he or she is too good. So I don't have to worry. I think of it the other way around. If the guys are good, my tension is gone.
Right.
You tell somebody you got to do this, and it will be done. You don't have to worry about it. So, and that's when it comes to when you say hiring or recruitment, at least it's a lot more talent focused, competency focused. I was talking to one of my colleagues today, Ravi. He deals with TeamLease communications and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And we said our department in this organization is the most diverse.
Right.
If you see a lot of of course, this company is based in Kolkata and Mumbai, so there is predominantly a larger percentage of Bengalis and Marathis.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at our department, we have got Oriya speaking, Telugu speaking, Guju speaking, Marathi speaking, Hindi speaking, Punjabi speaking. I have got the whole lot, Malayalis, and also I said I've got Hindus, Muslims. I said this is probably and we are a small team. We're just about 32 people, but very diverse. And as far as we are concerned, we go by if the person has competencies, has certain capabilities, carries a certain skill set, then he or she will have a future, the career will grow, and there will be no discrimination based on which region he or she belongs to, or some people say that being a Bengali will help or being a Marathi will help. Nothing of that sort, at least out here. Just the performance speaks. So it's when I came here, we had from one of my previous bosses, we had an A category, B category, C category, and he opened my diary and he says, these are the guys and this is where you belong. So it kind of made me feel proud. He was open to share with me, and that is what I did when I came here. I immediately, within a year or so, I could make out who's A, B, C, and then the idea was don't throw out C, bring them up to B, and then bring up the B's to A's. Today, I can more or less say that we are predominantly an A category team, so it's on kind of something I share also with the management that. Touchwood, cross fingers, department teams are on autopilot. I don't have to worry too much about what they are doing. And if they ever have a problem, they can always approach.
The 2 points we already touched upon, I think, which are more important, I feel, in terms of human resource management. One is the geopolitical, as you have already told, and I'm sure that your organizations also operates in various states in India. So how that affects in terms of managing the workforce. And also the second one, we already told that, there are employees from different regions. How this gender diversity or the location diversity also matters in terms of managing the workforce. What is your point on that?
See, my personal experience, 12 years I worked with this other organization outside India. And I have led a multinational team, multicultural team. My takeaway from that was you learn to adapt, you learn to respect other cultures, other traditions, and everybody doesn't have the same belief as me. So you learn to respect those differences, and what you try to do is find out the strengths and try and play to those strengths. What is the minimum common thread that is binding everyone together? So after the day is done, let's say on a weekend, if you say let's all sit down for beer, everybody will come down and sit on the table.
Right.
So it's like, then it doesn't matter he comes from Croatia, Russia, UK or Italy or India, so they'll all come down and sit together. Same thing I have seen out here, whether it is people from different cultures or whatever. What I try to do is what skill sets are necessary in the team, of course. So you have to have people with those skill sets, and also try and bring them all together. And of course, over a period of time, you can do a little bit of fine tune. These two seem to work well together rather than this and this guy. So eventually, yes, but then we have to be flexible. Anybody can get deputed to any project site. And the idea is to create that healthy respect between our team members also, and which is why that diversity thing helps. So we don't have anything against any, one of the team members is a girl, for example. Then I said other religions are also represented on the team. Different regions of India are represented on the team. So we have a very healthy diversity. None of it makes any difference. And I don't think in my 9+ years, anybody has ever told me I don't want this person on site or this person on site. They can give their preference that, I would prefer to have this or this person. If he or she is available, I'll depute, otherwise I'll send somebody else, and they work equally well.
Right.
Geopolitical wise, I will say what, also our ministers in the government say, but I'll say it honestly. We are not totally detached, but then it doesn't affect us too much.
Right.
To some extent, what happens is, for example, the technology comes from our, we call them COCs, Centers of Competence. So Austria is a center of competency, Japan is a center of competency, United States is a center of competency. So we do projects with them as our consortium partner. So the basic engineering of the technology comes from there.
Okay.
Some detail engineering is done there, some detail engineering is done in India. So by and large, for example, if they have their hands full in Europe or South America or elsewhere, then they may not have resources to spare for us.
Right.
To that extent, we could be impacted. But by and large, what we do is we set ourselves a little aggressive target. These are the orders we need in India per year. And we try and meet those orders. And, like they say, every adversity comes with an opportunity.
Absolutely.
COVID made people realize these guys were not able to come in from abroad. Flights were stopped, there were lockdowns everywhere. Europe was in a more horrible condition compared to India. So a lot of specialists could not come here, and they had to depend on Indians. A lot of it was virtual hand-holding. It was not that we were left on our own. There were video calls and teleconferences and all that.
Right.
By and large, there was a healthy respect that got generated that Indians also have competencies and can execute. So once that thing has come up, that geopolitical thing now has turned in our favor. Rather than affecting us negatively, it is affecting us positively. Now the teams that have delivered are being asked if they are available for international assignments. And I said, yes, if we can spare somebody from our domestic assignment, then I'll definitely be happy to send, give that person an opportunity abroad. I have worked abroad. I know it gave me a lot of insights, and I would love it that some of the people can go abroad and kind of broaden their horizons. So,
Right. Very rightly said, sir. One more important aspect, I think we all HR professionals face that, which is called as attrition.
Which is?
Attrition.
Yeah.
How have you tackled here, and how is the trend from last 7 to 8 years? Are we able to retain the proper talented manpower, or we need to give up some point of time? How is your take on that?
See, what we have seen is people with certain skill sets, for example, and this is happening worldwide, especially those with automation skills. Yeah, the code writers, program writers, or whatever, they are in demand. There is a certain, and this goes on. Yeah, certain. There was a period of time when banking professional or finance background professionals were in demand. So today it is these computer guys or IT guys who are in demand. So there are people with skill sets, and especially ours are like custom built equipment.
Right.
And these are complicated things. So it's not that somebody leaves and you take somebody from a college or from another industry. And another IT, okay, he's a computer and science graduate with 10 years of experience. You bring him in, he or she will not be able to deliver because the equipment is very different.
Right.
So power plant, chemical plant, this is steel plant. So the equipment is very different, very sophisticated, very complicated. Change is not so easy. So there is a certain level of attrition happening there, and what we are trying to protect, because we know there is a difficulty in arranging replacement, is by way of one is of course money talks. So give them a healthy increment, make sure that our people are at
right pay.
market benchmarks. Yes. So we realized, we did a certain exercise with the consultant. We found out if we can do certain things with the designations, that helps a lot. Certain things with the salaries, that helps a lot. But at the end of the day, which is something again I've personally seen, your designation, your salary looks nice for the first 2 or 3 months after you have got it. After that, you get used to that designation, that salary, and every year you cannot be like getting promoted or be given double-digit increments or whatever. What works, at least what I have personally experienced, is people connect. Again, which is why what I was mentioning, the difference. TeamLease also is very people focused. So and this is again also derived from my international experience. We all have this aura about the white people or Westerners or whatever, that somehow when we were also growing up, that they are superior in a certain kind of way or whatever. But when we were growing up, we had these expats coming home. So there was a very healthy banter that used to take place. And there was never any hesitation in dealing with foreigners or whatever. So when I went abroad, what I realized was everybody is basically a human being, and everybody psychology is the same. They have their own family issues, we have our own family issues. Right. They have their own society issues, we have our own society issues. If you connect on a human level, you will find out there is not much difference between you and them except the color of the skin. Otherwise, basically, it's the same. They can have off moods, we can have off moods. They can have bad foods, we can have bad foods. So whether it is food or mood or relatives or family or work, whatever, it's all very similar. And what I have done is created a kind of open door policy, which is not the office door. But let's say I don't follow a very formal hierarchy in the department. Anybody can pick up their phone and call me. I will not say come through your line manager. So they can talk to me about, they need a break, they need to get their children married, or they need a break to children have board exams, or even normal school exams. So we kind of facilitate. I try to find out. What I have now done is what I was telling you in the meetings. When I tell others, it is something that I don't just preach. What I also try to do is, we have these performance appraisals, right? So twice a year. This is a continuous process. We have it every few months. What I do is I actually ask them, have you thought about your career? Do you want to continue doing this, or do you want to do something else? What? And it's a very standard thing, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? And it came during COVID. Nobody could have said, this is what is going to happen. So that question is by and large looks like a fake one. But even if I don't ask 5 years, what I do ask is, what is your aspiration? What do you aspire to in life? So there are people, for example, my team works on client sites. There are some who want to come back to office. Sites can be small places, yes. So people can be in Bhilai, Durgapur, Rourkela. These are all small towns basically. and some of them want to come back to Mumbai or Kolkata to offer better education to their children or whatever. But we do compensate people who go out by way of allowances, which people sitting here do not get.
Right.
So there is a plus and a minus. Some people feel their needs are met by going to site, by drawing those allowances. Some feel that living in a big city and giving a better education carries more weightage. I don't want the allowances. So we will find out. And I've allowed people from my team to be transferred to other departments if that is what they have aspired to. So touch wood, in about 9+ years, I think I have had only 3 people leaving my department, separating. 2 left in the beginning when I came here, because when I came it was Siemens. We were part of Siemens Limited.
Right.
So that same year, few months down the line, news came that our department, Siemens, was going into a joint venture collaboration with Mitsubishi Heavy Industry. So a couple of people immediately jumped ship because they said no, we were kind of here because of the Siemens brand value. So if I don't include those two, out of that 2, 1 came back later on.
Okay, right.
But if I don't count those 2 who jumped immediately after I joined because we were going out of Siemens, the others, for example, in the last 9 years, only 3 have left, and all 3 left due to family reasons. One could not have moved to another location because his parents needed help and he wanted to be with them.
Right.
So he found a job out there. Same thing happened with one person who's separating end of this month. So it's like, and the third also similar. One of the parents he lost, and then the second parent needed support, so he had to be home. So all the 3 cases were because of family issues. They had to be home for a certain reason, and my teams have to really move from location to location.
Right.
But other than these 3, and we have once in 6 months we have a dialogue with our COCs. So for example, the global team head sits in Austria. Once in 6 months we have a conference. Same question was asked. By then the only 2 had left, the third is leaving now. So I told him 9 years I have had 2 departures, and they were like stunned. They said, how can it be like this? Out there people seem to be rotating in and out so quickly. But I don't know. If you ask me, the reason is probably people connect. I could have been playing lucky. It's quite possible. But I put it down to people connect. It's like if you listen to their problems, that is half the problem solved for them. Somebody who can listen to them. And if you can help solve those problems, then it is like 100% of their attention disappears.
Right. If you talk about technology, that I think from last few years, or probably before COVID, or maybe more than a decade or so, we have been seeing the impact of technology in terms of managing the workforce. What are the changes you have observed? I mean, maybe 10 years back or so, and now, and how it is helping the workforce management if we are having a proper technology in place in any organizations?
I think the most powerful has been, again, thanks to COVID, work from home. My team assistant is not here today. The OTPs got generated, everything got done over phone calls. The person doesn't have to be really sitting in office to be able to facilitate.
Right.
And we encourage that. So we have, I think at any given time, 30% of the workforce in this organization is operating from home. And we have also allowed, for example, flexible hours because of that. So earlier, we were very particular, if the office timings are 9 to 6, then 9:31 pe somebody comes in, half day we blocked off. Now it's open, you can walk in at 9:40, 9:55, you can walk out at 3:30, 4:30, 5 o'clock. It doesn't matter as long as the job has been done or as long as the work is getting done. So we have allowed that flexibility, and technology by way of a lot of things have been facilitated on the mobile phone. We have apps. A lot of things can be approved out there.
Right.
Mails can be responded to. Teams meetings, Microsoft Teams meetings, we can attend on the phone. So a lot of things have been facilitated by technology.
Right.
to that extent, I think we don't even resort to a normal video call, which was like once upon a time that was considered like the ultimate thing. But a lot of people connect over informal. There are chats. I don't indulge in that, but I think a lot of the next generation is on Microsoft Team chats and all that. A lot of work getting done, formally, informal interactions happening, and travel has cut down.
Absolutely.
It has cut down travel. It has cut down the necessity of coming to the office, working 9 to 6. To me, that is how it has affected our lives. And as far as, let us say, our clients are concerned, technology today has facilitated a hookup of their systems with our systems, which means, we have certain kind of, we call them life cycle contracts. It starts with signing a contract that you will transfer a certain technology and an equipment to the client. Then our team, my team will go there, set up that equipment, make it perform, demonstrate and give training to the client, and then we walk out. But after that, they are not left on their own. So their systems are connected to our system. People sitting in Germany or Austria are able to access their systems and tell them maintenance is due. So many hours have been completed. Or if there is a problem, they log in, they access, they troubleshoot sitting out there, problem is solved, operations continue. Again, during COVID, new innovation, we got helmets with cameras fitted on them. So an Indian specialist wearing that helmet, I didn't actually do it on my side, but Primetal, it came on LinkedIn that they came out with this innovation. So a person standing in front of a machine and somebody sitting in Japan or Austria was able to visualize as if he or she himself is standing in front of that machine. And then that person out there was able to say, you see this gap, please measure this gap. This guy measured, that fellow was able to see the measurement and then say, okay, make this adjustment. This guy made, it's almost as if he or she was physically present.
Doing that.
And clients have signed timesheets for those people and paid for them. Despite their not coming to India. We have had that kind of, and now that is cutting edge technology, so
that is the power of technology.
That is the power of technology. So not just computer wizards out there solving problems, but also mechanical problems being solved from there or being supervised from there.
So genuinely, I think productivity has been improved.
Productivity has improved. Although if you 2 days ago, I was talking to my wife about, if we saw those cassette players and then we went on to MP3s, MP4s, Walkmans, CD players.
So if
you see where technology has gone, I do not know if you would like to, take this or be happy with the Walkman or the CD or that cassette player. That was also fun probably. Especially if you had a deck, you put in a cassette with your favorite songs, you put in a blank cassette and then record that. So that was also technology.
Absolutely.
And we were happy with that also. But yes, you are right.
The productivity has been improved a lot.
Things have improved.
So I would like to ask one last question for you. We all know, you're a reputable player in this industry. What are the new strategic initiatives Primetal is taking to generate new employment opportunities in India?
Opportunities, I think when you say employment opportunities for us, they are kind of linked to our orders intake. And what we are doing is vis-a-vis our competitors. This is something because I worked for all the three. There are three main competitors in the world in the metals industry. I worked for the other two and come here. Compared to the others, what Primetals does differently, and some might say this is a more costly affair, but then it is as simple as my team, for example, setting up an office at site. I remember when I came here and the first site that I traveled to, I went looking for colleagues of my old company, the previous company where I was working for. and I found there were two guys on that site working from consortium partners' offices. And when I went into our offices, it was like we had an office of our own. We had office boys, we had cooks, we had guest houses, we had safety guys, we had security guys. The kind of, I came back and I said, wow, we have a lot of paraphernalia. That was the term I used it. Do we really need all these people? Over the years, I discovered the answer was yes. There is a certain brand value that your company carries, and for that reason, for example, when I came to Calcutta, family was in Delhi, but when I came here, I didn't take up a one bedroom to be living alone. So you have to go by what your designation is, what company are you working for, and you take an accommodation. If anybody comes home, it should be like you have gone to this person's home. You know, he works for Siemens, he works for Mitsubishi. Okay, he has a nice place. So not that I took the place to invite people in, but I think you associate. That is how you go about in life. Yes, the clothes that you wear or the car that you drive is not to show somebody else. It's to show to yourself that you have arrived at a certain place. So I think in a way, building that office, having those office boys or safety staff, and one of those sites we have in Naxal infested area. So there was a security guy to liaise with the local police and paramilitary and all that. So we took all those people, and I think in the end, safety officers on site. So we took a lot of these people to make sure people are safe and they stay motivated. Probably this is now, if you look back and connect the dots, could be one reason to avoid attrition. That people feel they are looked after, that they are not like, just another roll number and then, okay, you have a salary and go ahead and do your job or whatever. So it might be a little costly affair compared to others who don't do all these things, and a lot of this stuff comes from TeamLease. Because when we go to site, we prefer to have local people. Generate local employment, you avoid resentment and all that, and you get a kind of cooperation. They know the local culture, they know the local areas and all that. So take local people for not just the low skills like cooks or office boys or safety or security. We have also taken local people for technical skills, electrical, mechanical, utilities. And I had this discussion with Vipin Gupta when he was here. He said, what next? I said, what next? Go for sophisticated, We have gone for low skills and normal skills. We'll be happy to go for high skills. Right. If, for example, TeamLease could, let us say, take in young guys, graduates from college, nurture them. Right. See, for example, it's a cyclical industry, but there are orders. It's not that there are no orders. Now, there are 3 companies fighting for those orders. So, when the cycle is on an upswing, all 3 have got enough to keep the shops full. Right. And when it's a down cycle, you may not have enough for all the 3, but there will be something for everyone. And that is the time when basically, you don't mind if somebody wants to leave, okay, let go, cut your cost. But if TeamLease has to have a resource like this, then somebody is enjoying an upcycle, somebody is enjoying a down cycle. Who's enjoying up? You want people, I have them. Right. They can use it, and then when they go through a down cycle, the resource comes back, okay, you are having an upcycle, I have a trained guy available with me. Absolutely. And we would be happy. In fact, I think have also those high-end skills available on TeamLease, and there are companies which are doing this. Siemens used to cultivate these kind of companies. They used to call them system house. Mm-hmm. And then there is a confidentiality agreement that those guys are going to come and work on our technologies and don't share this technology with the competitors. So that confidentiality agreement is there. Right. But otherwise, at least they are available to execute our projects also and competitors' projects also. We use the same computer engineer, and the charges are good. I mean, their salaries are good. So obviously we get charged 2 times, 3 times for their normal salaries, right, or whatever, and something TeamLease can look into. I mean, that's a suggestion from my side.
Thank you, sir. Having said that, I'm sure that you will be coming up with various requirements of manpower.
Yeah.
I think recruitment opportunities, employment opportunities will also increase. So thank you, sir. I think we have had a great discussions with you. We have touched upon various sensitive topics, then of course few generalized topics. But yes, we had a great sessions, and I think all our viewers can take the maximum out of it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.